Here on The Source, we are featuring women who have or are dedicating their lives to public service. The government moves to change the Constitution.
There is no solution. Believe me and remember me for all time, because I'm telling you the truth. Nothing short of a federal setup would appease the morrow of Mindanao.
But is the Philippines ready for federalism?
Bago mag-usap tungkol sa federalism, asikasuhin muna yung political dynasties. Hindi pa yan napapasa, pero papalitan na yung constitution.
Also, in the fight over the vice presidency, the Presidential Electoral Tribunal sets the vote recount.
I know for a fact that he does not, he does not have evidence to prove election cheating because there was none. At the end of the day, evil will never triumph.
And how do female government leaders fare in the Duterte administration? Vice President Leni Robredo speaks up. Let's go straight to the source of the story, Vice President Leni Robredo. Vice President, dati po, alam naman natin na nagbibigay ho kayo, ang balita, puro pro bono yung ginagawa sa Naga. No? And ang kwento po ng isang malapit sa inyo sa akin, nung nasa Naga po kayo, marami pong, may mga babae, kababaihan nagsusumbong.
Hindi lang yon. I was in charge kasi of the women's sector sa saligan. So parang natatakan ako na pag may babaeng nabubugbog, sa akin lalapit. So parang yung mga kapitan, kasi yung mga kapitan usually sila nagre-rescue eh. Yung mga kapitan, pag may na-rescue silang nabugbog, sa akin tatawag. And for a time, there was still no halfway house in Naga. Yung bahay namin, yung tirahan. In fact, marami ng beses na kaming mag-asawa, kami yung magsusundo dun sa babae, na nabugbog, papatirahin namin sa bahay for a while hanggang wala pa siyang relative
sa bahay niyo?
Sa bahay namin. And maliit pa naman ang bahay namin kasi kami, apartment. Pero meron kami yung isang kwarto ng anak ko. Yun yung tinitirhan nila for a while. Kasi eventually nagkaroon na ng halfway house. Pero yung experience ko kasi, even if you give free legal services, and yung legal services hindi lang yung kaso eh. Pero kasama na doon, ikaw yung magdadala sa ospital, ipapacheck up mo sa medico-legal, tatawagin mo yung fiscal, kasi kung criminal case, dapat siya yung magkumuha ng... Parang it's a very long process before you actually file a case. Pero yung ang experience ko, at first, ang mga kababaihan na nabugbog galit na galit, talagang kakasuhan ko na I've had enough. Pero eventually, pag may nag-file, ilang gabi mo pagpupuyatan, yung paggawa ng complaint, nasa court ka na. Pag nasa court ka na, hindi ka na niya sisiputin. Many times that happened. Parati ako napapagalitan ng judge na ikaw lang yung desidido sa kaso. Hindi na sila mag-a-appear.
Ngayon siguro hindi na kayo kaya pagalitan ni judge.
Tapos ma-archive yung kaso.
Yeah.
Pero ang reason doon, most of the women that I've helped, they're willing to go back to an abusive relationship, to mend fences with an abusive husband or an abusive partner, kasi they feel that they are dependent on them. Hindi sila makatayo sa sariling paa. So yung sa amin, I became head of the Naga City Council of Women while I was in Saligan. Iniba namin yung approach ng pagtulong. Kami yung nagpe-prepare ng God budget kasi we were the point person for gender and development. Ginamit namin yung lahat economic empowerment. Kasi yung babae, magkaroon lang siya ng hanap buhay of her own, whether nag-e-empleyo siya, nagne-negosyo, service provider, nakakabigay siya ng confidence eh. And etong confidence na to, ito yung nagagamit niyang lakas para hindi na payagan that abuse, para maging recipient siya ng abuse. Kaya ito yung, kahit ngayon, we have been helping a lot of women organizations. I think as of the moment, We're helping 49 women organizations. These are indigent women all over the country. Meron kami binilhan ng abacus stripper kasi minamano-mano ng mga babae. Meron kaming sa Piagapo to, very near Marawi. Yung Marawi women weavers, we bought them sewing machines and cloth para dun sa kanilang landap. Meron kaming mga tinutulungan na sa Hinubaan, Hinubaan in Negros Oriental, nagbigay kami ng digital printing machine kasi yun yung click doon sa sa tao, binigyan namin yung women organizations. Yung mga ganon. Alimbawa in Sumilaw in Bukidnon, we brought our partner Filipinas Shell Foundation. They conducted agri biosystems training for the women farmers. Yung alam mo yon, just yung economic independence gives women power.
Empowerment. All right, we'll be taking a short break. The Source will be right back with Vice President Leni Robredo. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Still with us, Vice President Leni Robredo. A number of other issues we need to discuss, Vice President. Cha-cha, charter change. What's your basic insight or feeling on this? Kailangan mo ba?
Yung sa akin, hindi pa kasi nasasagot yung, I think, the most basic question. Bakit natin kailangan? Hindi pa yun nasasagot. Halimbawa, nasagot. Sabihin natin kailangan talaga. Anong manner ng pagpalit? Pero the Constitution is the basic framework of our government. It's not something that we can rush. Hindi to pwedeng daanin sa parang sa political might. Kung merong kailangang i-amend sa Constitution, ang unang tanong, hindi ba kayang yung batas yung i-amend? Halimbawa, one of the things that is being raised on why we need to change to a federal form of government is masyadong Manila-centric. Dapat palakasin yung mga local government units. Agree ako. Pero yung next question, constitutional amendment ba yung kailangan? Hindi ba to kaya na amendment sa local government code? Kasi sa akin, especially at a time like this, parang mahirap magkaroon ng amendments to the Constitution. Kanino ba natin ititiwala yung amendments?
Can you qualify that, especially at a time like this?
No, very divided tayo. Very divided tayo as a nation. Yung Constitution, kailangan nag-agree tayo . Kaya nga sinasabit siya to a plebiscite, di ba? Kailangan nag-agree tayo sa pagpalit. Ako nga sinasabi ko, sabihin pa natin na kailangan talagang mag-amend ng certain provisions of the Constitution. Sabihin pa natin na nag-agree na tayo sa proseso. Ako yung proposal ko dyan, bakit hindi natin gawin yung ginagawa sa ibang bansa? Halimbawa, sa US, hindi binubuksan yung Constitution, gumagawa na lang ng amendment. Di ba sa US, meron siya First Amendment, Second Amendment. Ako ang proposal ko, mas ganun . Kasi ang daming mahahalagang prinsipyo saka values sa ating present Constitution na pag binuksan siya, natatakot akong mawala yun .
Are you quite satisfied? Yun po ang pakiramdam ko with the 1987 Constitution.
Ako hindi siya perfect. Pero maraming nakalagay sa kanya na wala sa Constitution ng ibang bansa . Yung values natin as a Filipino people. Natatakot ako na yung mga provisions ng human rights, ma-dilute. Natatakot ako na, alam mo yun, yung provision tungkol sa political dynasty, mawala.
Meron naman po, pero hindi naman natutuloy.
Yung sa akin nga sabi ko, bago mag-usap tungkol sa federalism, asikasuhin muna yung political dynasties kasi basic. In the sense na yung 1987 Constitution requires that . Yung anti-political dynasty, pero hindi pa napapasa. Hindi pa yun napapasa, pero papalitan na yung Constitution. Parang sa akin, mas maraming danger na ipopost kesa sa kabutihan na
So
magagawa.
definitely, Vice President, ngayon, wala po kayo sa federalism. It's not something that you agree with because you're looking at certain provisions in the Constitution na dapat i-improve.
Yun sa akin. Yun sa akin. Kailangan mo nang asikasuhin yung mga hindi pa naaasikaso. Particularly yung anti-political dynasty provision. Kasi you can just imagine, pag hindi nagpasa ng ganon, tapos nagkaroon tayo ng federal states, parang pinapalakas pa natin yung baka maging
Political clans.
Baka maging parang fiefdom siya eh. Pag tiningnan natin ngayon, after the 2016 elections, lalong nag-increase yung governors, mayors, congressmen na galing sa political dynasties. Eh, pag nagkaroon ng federalism, di ba? Paano yun?
How do you react to maybe some people who would say that ayaw mo lang dahil baka ma-dissolve ang Office of the Vice President?
Ako tingin ko kasi side issue yun eh. Hindi yun yung mahalaga. Ang mahalaga, ano ba yung makakabuti sa atin? Kasi okay lang naman ma-dissolve yung opisina kung kinakailangan. Kasi ang nakakatakot doon, mas nakakatakot I think yung proposal na i-dissolve yung ombudsman, Office of the Ombudsman. Kasi kung wala na yung Office of the Ombudsman, wala nang independent body eh. Wala nang independent body na, di ba, mag-handle ng mga cases of corruption, cases of abuses by public officials. Tingin ko mas ano yun eh, mas mahalaga. Kasi yung Office of the Vice President, kahit pa hindi yun ma-dissolve, after 6 years wala na ako dito eh. Pero yung konstitusyon nandyan hanggang wala na tayo.
After
diba?
6 years ho ba, wala na ho talaga kayo?
Tapos na ako maging Vice
Opo.
President.
I mean, would you even aspire, after yung ngayon po, the present situation you are in right now, would you still want to be in politics? Would you still be open to it?
Ayoko na magsalita ng tapos kasi kinain ko na yung sinabi ko twice. When I was being asked to run in 2013, sabi ko over my dead body, pero I ran. Nung tinutulak ako for the vice presidency, sinasabi ko I will not do it. Kasi ang choices ko lang noon, whether to retire, kasi yun naman yung plano, one term lang, transition candidate lang ako, or whether to seek re-election as representative of the 3rd District of Camarines Sur. Kaya ngayon, kahit sa isip ko, especially after the elections of 2016, it was a very difficult campaign. Talaga namamalimos ka kasi wala kang pera. Alam mo yon, parang you had to go around the country, which I enjoyed. Pero parang sa akin, parang I was not trained for it eh. After the campaign, sinabi ko, never ko na itong gagawin. Pero again, pag tinapon sa'yo ng tadhana, parang nangyayari talaga.
Yun nga po yung gusto ko sana tanungin sa inyo. Pag binalikan po yung inyong buhay, you were obviously, I don't know if there's even a better word for reluctant candidate, pero napunta po kayo sa mga posisyon na sinasabi niyong ayaw niyong mapunta. Do you feel that this was a calling or this was a purpose? When you look back at your life and where you are now, how do you see it unfolding?
Ako para sa akin, hindi ganyan eh. Parang, you know, there are people na when you look back, sasabihin na he was really being trained for this one. Ako hindi eh. Yung sa akin, I was just a wife, I was a mother, I was a human rights lawyer, and I was happy with it. Pero yung sa akin kasi, yung turning point when my husband died suddenly eh. Parang ang feeling ko lang, I am continuing what he was supposed to do. Not as vice president, but as a public servant. Parang yung asawa ko talaga was the one who was talagang suited for a life like this. Bigla siyang nawala. So, yung sa akin, mas tinitingnan ko siya na ginagawa ko lang yung dapat niyang gawin. Yeah. Mas ganon.
Do you often still talk to him?
All the time. At pakiramdam ko, hindi niya kami iniiwan eh. You know, there are so many things that I do not know. Pero bigla na lang, I respond to it in a way na yung asawa ko, yung nandyan. Lalo na ngayon, when I was faced, after I won, I was faced with so many challenges. Siguro kung yung dating ako, sasabihin ko, bahala kayo dyan, aayaw na ako. Pero the way that I responded to these challenges, para asawa ko yun eh. Kaya pakiramdam ko, may term yung mga anak ko dyan. Parang sinasabi nila si mama may sanib.
Sanib ng daddy.
Sanib ng asawa ko. Parang ang feeling nila yon. And I feel like, yun nga, I'm just continuing what he was supposed to do.
Are you at all threatened, or do you see this protest of former Senator Bongbong Marcos as a threat to your vice presidency?
Not really. I know for a fact that he does not, he does not have evidence to prove election cheating because there was none. We're not allowed to talk about it anymore. The Supreme Court issued a gag order. And I think he's been spending a lot on social media to vilify me. Pero sa akin naman, at the end of the day, evil will never triumph eh. Maraming naniniwala din sa kanya, pero yung sa akin, I'm not really concerned in the sense that dadating din yung panahon na yung katotohanan yung lalabas.
We'll be taking a short break. The Source will be right back with Vice President Leni Robredo. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Still with us, Vice President Leni Robredo talked about social media, bashers. Binabasa niyo pa ho ba yan?
Binabasa
Affected
ko.
ho ba kayo dyan?
Binabasa ko, and source siya ng katuwaan. Source siya ng katuwaan.
Hindi kayo nasasaktan sa mga...
Kasi hindi naman totoo eh. Wala namang totoo doon. Halimbawa,
What's the worst thing? Do you
yung
think?
mga anak ko.
Yeah.
Pag yung mga anak ko, halimbawa, one Christmas, yung daughter ko, my youngest daughter was bashed. She was bashed by a mother. And she did not deserve it. Yun talaga, nagagalit ako. Pag ginagawa ng kwento, yung namatay ko ng asawa na hindi naman totoo, nagagalit ako. Pero sa akin, wala pang sinabi, wala pang bash na totoo eh. I think it's the one thing that saves me from all the heartaches. When you say things that are not true, you don't get affected. Parang maaapektuhan ka lang pag hindi ikaw, or maaapektuhan ka pag siguro totoo yung sinasabi. Pero nakakatuwa siya. Nakakatuwa, nape-predict na namin eh. Meron siyang theme, kaya halata na it's a well-oiled machinery. Pag tiningnan mo yung mga bash sa akin, pare-pareho sila. They say it differently, but they say the same things. This week iba, next week iba naman yung theme. Parang may nag-feed. Kung ano-ano lang, parang excited nga ako eh. Excited ako parating tingnan what's next. Kasi very ridiculous lahat.
Baka mas maengganyo pa yung mga bashers ninyo, ma'am, because of what you said na, to continue on criticizing you.
Funny siya. Hindi siya nakakapikon. Funny. Hindi ko naman pinapatulan. Binabasa ko pero hindi ko never akong pumatol. Never akong sumagot. Never ako nagdepensa.
Just on the final stretch, Vice President, na-mention niyo po kanina, because when we look at it, si Vice President Leni Robredo, si Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno, si Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales, at si Senator, kayong tatlo po muna, meron pong nagreklamo sa inyo for impeachment. Si Senator Lala de Lima po nakakulong na ngayon. How do you see that unfold? Yung kayong apat na babae, and I know what you said a while ago, your critics or medyo kayo po ang nagsasalita against, maybe the administration or some of its policies.
It's unfortunate. Pero actually, siya eh. Parang microcosm siya ng mga kababaihan in general. Kahit yung mga kababaihan na wala sa leadership positions, mas vulnerable talaga. Mas vulnerable siya. Nakikita naman natin na pag babae ka, anything is thrown at you eh. Parang you're subjected to higher standards. not just of morality, but of service, of everything. And I think to a certain extent that is also, parang that is also an advantage in the sense na you're always aware that because you're a woman, you're subjected to higher standards. Because you're a woman, mas marami yung, alam mo yun, mas marami talaga yung mali na pwedeng ibato sa'yo. Hindi lang yun sa amin eh. Kahit sa ordinaryong kababaihan na naiiwan sa bahay. Pag kinumpara mo kung paano i-treat ng tao, yung asawang babae sa kaasawang lalaki, na ordinaryo, wala sa politika, wala sa lahat, mas lugi parati yung babae. Hindi ko sinasabing all the time, pero most of the time ganon. Yung expectation sa babae, sa asawang babae, mas mataas kesa sa expectation sa asawang lalaki. Yung society is always more forgiving of men than of women. Kaya hindi ito naiiba eh. Siguro mas malaki lang sa amin kasi kilala kami. Pero ano siya siya yung katotohanan sa bawat babae na kailangang ma-break. Patuloy tayong nag-exert ng effort to break this, alam mo yun, yung inequality. We have achieved so many, we have achieved so much already in terms of trying to
improve,
uplift the status of women, but there is much to be desired.
As a last question, how would you describe the Filipina today?
Ako yung Filipina today is more passionate, more committed, more dedicated, and more confident of herself. Before, yung mga Filipinas are expected to be quiet, di ba? Are expected to just be the support of men. Pero now, it's not like that anymore. There are so many Filipinas occupying leadership positions already. And hindi lang mga politiko. You know, when Pantawid Pamilya was launched, yung mga parent leaders na mga kababaihan, very vocal already, very confident, yun nga, very committed, very passionate. It gives us great joy when we go to communities na yung, alam mo, I think it's very important na confident yung babae. Kasi pag confident yung babae na ipapaglaban niya yung kanyang karapatan. And we need to train more women to be like that. It gives them power, it gives them strength.
And isang pahabol lang, as Leni Robredo, what can you improve in yourself as a woman, as a Filipina?
Marami akong pagkukulang. Ako siguro, Leni Robredo as Vice President. Kasi parang all my life, I was living in the shadow of my husband. So kahit Vice President na ako, marami akong pag-hold back. Yung sometimes I do not understand the power of the position. The power in the sense that if I am more aggressive, I would be able to help people more. Pero medyo mahiyain ako eh. Sabi ko nga, yung paghingi ng tulong para sa communities, nahihiya ako nun. Pero I think if I am more confident also of my position as Vice President, I would be able to make a bigger difference. It's something that I have to work on. Para masyado pang provincial yung aking attitude, masyadong parang I have been so used to being just the support of my husband na maraming pag-hold back. Yung Leni Robredo as a mother naman, I've been having a hard time parang balancing my time with the children. I have also been so used to talk to them. Yung tutok na tutok ako sa kanila. Tiger mom ako eh. And now, para yung guilt feelings. Halimbawa magpo-probinsya, ang parati kong request sa staff, pwede bang one night lang tayo? kung kayang balikan, kahit
Really?
gigising ka ng sobrang aga, uuwi ka ng gabi, basta tutulog ako sa bahay. Pero guilty pa din ako. Alam mo yun, parang nahihirapan ako mag-detach sa dati kong buhay. Kahit kaya na nung mga anak ko, gusto ko ako pa din yung gagawa. Yun yung mga adjustments na kailangan gawin.
Maybe because mag-isa na rin po kayo.
Oo, mahirap maging single parent. Meron kang obligasyon, pero yung anak mo, kailangan ka. And my daughter was saying, Mama, ano naman, okay lang na hindi ka. Buti na lang nag-volunteer yung ate niya na siya yung sasama. Mahirap to be a single parent, mahirap to be a working mother. Mahirap yung pag-balance ng time, pero ganun eh.
2 years, Vice President, you still have 4 more years. We wish you all the luck.
Thank you.
And we really thank you for your time, giving us so much of your time today.
Thank you, Pinky.
And happy Women's Month.
Thank you. Happy Women's Month.
And thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.